Will Matter Eater Lads soon be teaming up with the Green Arrow?
We're going to be talking about that and reading some of your comments on this week's DcTV recap. Hi, I'm Jason Inman.
And I'm Ashley Victoria Robinson.
Welcome to DcTV Recap, the show where we talk about all your favorite CW DcTV shows. No, not Gotham, not Lucifer, not Smallville for the 11th season, although that would be amazing. Only the CW DcTV shows. And today we got a humdinger of a topic, I'm telling you that.
Wow.
All right, a humdinger of a topic. Comicbook.com recently put out an article talking about the four-way, it's now four-way now because Supergirl will officially be a part of it, actually get to have an actual episode in it, not just a little epilogue. The four-way crossover that will happen this year in the middle of November, I believe, is about where it's going to be. And let me just say that their speculation is way off theirs, but I thought we had to talk about this.
Cool.
So Mark Guggenheim and some of the other producers have been sharing pictures of some of the props that have been made. There is a mask that has appeared that to me looks very much like Sand, the character from JSA. It looks really cool. But Comic.com has another theory.
Oh, really?
They claim that they think it is the mask of Pharaoh Lad. Now, if you do not know who Pharaoh Lad is a pretty minuscule member of the Legion of Superheroes.
Sure.
And Ashley, do you know who the Legion of Superheroes are?
Yes, I do know who
But
the
tell
Legion
our
of...
lovely
I thought you
listeners.
were asking if I knew who Pharaoh Boy was, and I was going to not. The Legion of Superheroes is a cosmic super teen group from the 31st century.
That is correct.
Supergirl and Superboy have been part of at different times.
That is correct, yes. Superboy has been a part of it. Supergirl has been, a couple of Superboys have been part of it, actually.
Yeah.
You know, Brainiac 5 is from there. The Legion is like one of DC's like older super teams that actually are not being currently published by the comic book characters, but that doesn't matter. They're still really cool. We've seen the Legionnaire ring in Supergirl a couple of times now. Mon-El, Supergirl's boyfriend, is also typically a classic member of the Legion of Superheroes. So there are some clues towards this, but another rumor has come out, and I want to talk about it to you, and the reason why that they claim that they think the four-way crossover is going to be the Legion of Superheroes. Another rumor out there is that Barry and Iris's wedding is going to take place in the four-part crossover. That's another rumor that's out there because that wedding has been confirmed to happen this season. Yeah. They think that that also leans toward the Legion because a very famous Legionnaire, in fact, two famous Legionnaires, well, Impulse not so much, but Impulse has connections.
Don't you talk smack about Impulse.
I'm not talking smack about Impulse. I'm talking about his smack in terms of how he's related to the Legion of Superheroes. He's not technically a member of the Legion of Superheroes, but he has connections to it. He is Barry Allen's grandson, but also there is XS, who is a direct member of the Legion of Superheroes, who is also a speedster who could lend complications if she shows up during Barry and Iris's wedding. So Ashley, with a little bit of that, and we have one more thing that we can add to this, what do you think about the chances of this happening? Do you think the Legion could, all right, let's say this. Do you think the Legion could be a good crossover for the Arrowverse?
I do think so, because I think bringing the Legion on full time to any of the shows would be a mistake.
Even if they made a Legion CW show?
Only if they made, but bringing it onto a pre-existing show, I think would be...
We can catch that for later.
A big mistake. I think it would be too complicated. Like, the Legion is really a complicated conceit to begin with.
Yeah.
Forget about the history, forget about anything else that you might want to do with it that I think needs to be sort of contained, and containing it to something like a 4-episode crossover might be the perfect way to introduce it. It's something that's been seeded for a long time. You mentioned Supergirl seeding it. Also, when we saw Barry running through the multiverses, we also saw the Legion ring on the...
Even though it was the same shot as Supergirl.
Yeah, I was going to say the Kyber crystals, but it's definitely, those are from Star Wars.
While he was running through time.
It's the exact same shot from Supergirl, but it being in both continuities means that there's a chance that it could show up in either of them. And many of the creators who work on these shows, either as writers, EPs, directors, are huge Legion fans. And it does feel like we've been building towards this epic thing. So I think that the crossover would be a great place to put them.
Oh, really? So you think, interesting. So you think the idea that the four-way crossover is all about the Legion of Superheroes. Like, so say, I'm gonna throw out an idea. Say it's the Legion of Superheroes showing up and they're like, hey, heroes, you gotta do this thing or else the entire future is screwed.
Yeah.
You think that'd be a great way?
I do think so, yes. And I also think, kind of like how we backdoor piloted Flash out of Arrow, this could be a great way to like try the idea out, because like I said, it's a weird enough idea, and then to try to feed it to people who aren't maybe comics readers, it can be a complicated idea. But if people respond well to it, then maybe we'll be getting the Legion show that everyone's been screaming for since the 60s.
I actually, to be honest with you, I think a Legion show could really, really work. I actually really do. Another credence to their theory is that Mon-El, of course, classic member of the Legion,
very famous
he does appear through a portal, and they have said that the mystery of where he went is very important to the season of Supergirl. So what if Mon-El showed up a couple episodes before the 4-way crossover? It was like, guys, there's this threat. You can't be the Dominators. We already used the Dominators.
But it's some cosmic,
It's the Fatal Five.
Right.
Of the Legion superheroes, and they're coming, and then the Fatal Five shows up, and then the Legionnaires show up. And that's the 4-way crossover taking on the Fatal Five.
I think that'd be awesome. I also love the idea of the Legion being somewhere around the CW-verse, because they would bring in 2 characters that I really like.
Who?
You mentioned Impulse, Bart Allen. I've been dying for him to show up on The Flash. And also Brainiac 5, because I want Brainiac 5 to get together with Supergirl so she'll break up with Mon-El.
I really want Brainiac 5 to show up ahead of the Legion as just as a supporting character in one of Supergirl's episodes, because I think you could build a whole episode around Brainiac 5 showing up, being like, "Hey, Supergirl, Kara Danvers," and she's like, "How do you know my name?" And he's like, "Look, I'm Brainiac 5," and then she just starts punching him
because she thinks Brainiac's a bad guy.
Because she thinks Brainiac's a bad guy, and he's like, "No, whoa!"
Yeah.
You know, because you could do the opposite of the Mixel-Spitalik episode, where it's a good guy being like, let me help you," and she's like, "Go away, go away, go away."
Yeah.
You know, and I think that would be a very interesting episode. And then you could have him, of course, allude to be like, "There are bigger threats out there."
He could literally give her a Legion ring.
I would kill for a Legion of Superheroes series. I would just call it, well, you can't call it Legion. Damn it.
The Legion. Take that, Fox.
We're going to put a "the" in front of it. I think if we do a Legion show, it's only going to be like 6 characters max.
Yeah.
They're going to be a smaller team.
Call it Legionnaires.
Oh, Legionnaires would be, there you go. That's what it is. Because Legion of Superheroes is kind of a silly title. Legionnaires, I think, is where you want to go.
Yeah.
All right, so on last week's video, guys, you can always leave us comments, and we're going to talk about them. Lockjaw in the comments said,
"The Inhuman dog?"
Yeah, but even though their profile picture is Wolverine, it would be cool to have a random alien Green Lantern be on Legends of Tomorrow. Ashley, I want to hear your thoughts on this. I think this idea would be cool, but what do you think?
Yes. Do you want to know which alien Green Lantern might be?
Sure.
The thing about aliens is Supergirl in particular does them quite well.
Yeah.
So if I was doing it, I would try to stick to a more humanoid alien. So I'd probably go like Saronic Natu, because you just have to paint a girl pink basically and put her in the suit. I don't understand why you wouldn't just make them a human, because the production value is going to be less than that.
Sure.
But I think for Supergirl, we would probably end up with like a Chip. Who is the squirrel chipmunk Green Lantern, because I think that feels more in tone with the show. I think we would get maybe one of the more, I guess, lighthearted Green Lanterns. Is there any alien Green Lantern that you'd like to see?
I mean, to me, the most obvious Green Lantern to show up on Legends is Alan Scott.
I love Alan Scott.
But if we want to go for the alien Green Lantern, I think it'd be cool to see Abin Sur.
Ooh.
Before he dies, maybe the Legends know he dies.
Yeah.
You know, and they have to debate about, oh, do we save his life? Or if we don't get to create the greatest Green Lantern of all time. But I don't know how much they can touch Abin Sur because of Green Lantern Corps. I don't really know like what are the rules now, especially since Deathstroke has come back to Arrow and also Superman has showed up on Supergirl. So like right now I feel like it's okay as long as it's not Batman related.
But he was already established in the movies. We haven't seen a Green Lantern in the movies in the new continuity. So I think that...
Well, yeah. Yeah, he hasn't been established in the movies. There's been no Abin Sur in the movies.
But I mean that we got Superman on the TV show after we established him in the DCEU. I think that if there are characters maybe like Hal Jordan who are going to be established, that they might be off the table. I think as far as human Green Lanterns, we'd be more likely to see maybe a Kyle Rayner show up on Legends.
Depending on how wide their cast goes
Definitely.
in the movie. All right, next one comes from Wade Aiken says, how big of a role do you think Elongated Man will play in Season 4 of The Flash, and will we see his wife, Sue? I'm going to take this one.
Great.
We won't see Sue.
I definitely agree with that.
Because I think he's a new love interest.
I think we get him for like an episode.
No, I actually think, no, he's recurring. They have said that. I think he's going to be the new Julian Alpert. That's how much he's going to be in the new season.
Oh.
He won't be in every episode, but he'll be in like maybe 10 to 12. He'll be exactly like the Atom was in Arrow season 3. He'll be exactly like Mr. Terrific was in season 4. He'll show up in like 10 of like 20 episodes, maybe more depending on how much they like the actor.
Yeah.
You know.
He's not a character that I care for in the slightest. Like, I don't think Elongated Man is a very interesting character. I hope that this version on TV gives him an exciting new life, because that's something that the Arrowverse does really well, is they can take these characters who are maybe a little under the radar,
and make great things out of them.
And make great stories with them,
I think Elongated Man could be very interesting because a classic thing from the comic books is Elongated Man is a detective. If they make him Joe's partner...
Oh, that's a great idea.
Then we can shift the Flash back to being a cop show with science on the side, which it is kind of forgotten in season 2. Season 1, it was a cop show. Like
they were using all these Sherlock editing tricks in season 1.
Well,
it was great.
But season 1 was generally Eddie and Joe would be at the crime scene, and this season, especially the last season, you were kind of like, when does Joe ever go to work?
It's or Iris.
Iris.
It's the therapy show.
Yeah.
Season.
It's like we're just all working out of Star Labs, and we're barely there. Even with the addition of Julian Alpert, they abandoned that after the first 4 episodes. So I think Elongated Man, if Ralph is an actual cop, I think that could turn the show back into an interesting spin that I would really like to see.
If he's a romantic interest, I hope he's a romantic interest for Cisco, because when Caitlin is happy, she's a less interesting character.
Ralph will also get his powers either right before the crossover or right after it.
Yeah. Hopefully in a lightning storm.
He'll get it right at mid-season.
And Barry's like, no, I knew this was going to go poorly.
Brant Alleman's final question says, do you think Red Arrow will mount the Green Hood? I don't know really what that means, but Roy's actor was amazing, and I want more of him in Arrow. So I think he's asking, do you think we'll ever see Arsenal become
we talked
Arrow?
About that in the last video.
Green Arrow, yes.
No. I don't think Colton Haynes is coming back. He's on a different TV show now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think
recast Roy, though. I'm down with that, because I love Roy Harper.
I think you should totally recast Roy. Yeah, I agree. Because I actually, I like Colton. What's his name?
Colton Haynes.
Colton Haynes was a good choice for it. I'd like to see. I would be totally okay if they recast it, because I think Roy is such an important character that I really would like him to come back. So far they don't recast unless something major happens.
Yeah.
Like in the case of Kara's mom.
We could have a White Canary situation, though. We could have a Canary situation, where it was like Sarah and then it was Laurel. Like,
a different
maybe Roy has a twin brother a brother named Ray.
Maybe Oliver just trains a different person that becomes the new Red Arrow.
Yeah, that would be fine too if you don't want to recast that character.
But he's busy on other shows, and I think he left the show of Arrow when I think they were kind of setting him up for a spinoff. It really, it
seemed like he was going to lead Titans when it was in its previous incarnation.
Or even Legends. It seemed like they were really grooming him to take on a new show, and then he just quit the show. So that, to me, tells me that Colton Haynes doesn't want it.
Yeah, I would agree.
So, no, I don't think... I think you'll see him show up about once a season from here on out, and that's it. Yeah, there you go. So there you go. That's all the questions for DcTV Recap this week. Make sure and go down to the comments and tell us what you want to talk about next week.